Sudden enlightenment. The Holy Grail. Sudden awakening. The Holy Grail of non-dual spirituality. That which all spiritual seekers are longing for, are hoping for, are desperately praying for. But why? There are a lot of myths, a lot of misunderstandings regarding the concept of sudden enlightenment. And the mind clings to these ideas about the potential of sudden enlightenment. But the mind knows nothing about what sudden enlightenment or sudden awakening really is. It has a lot of ideas about it, that's for sure, as it has as it has a lot of ideas about everything. So it is paradoxically and non-duality is filled with paradoxes. So it is paradoxically the mind's intellectual search, the mind's intellectual efforts, the mind's intellectual desperate attempts to attain a sudden enlightenment. It is all of these things that actually prevents the awakening from happening. And let's for the time being forget everything about the concept of enlightenment. It does not matter. That concept is just confusing the mind. But the concept of awakening, that is more genuine. So let's talk about the possibility of a sudden awakening and what that really means. This human being that is speaking here, went through a sudden awakening. So this human being is able to talk about it, is able to paint a picture of what a sudden awakening really means. And what it does not mean. The last part, the mind will typically try to not notice. So a sudden awakening, it has an energetic component, an emotional component. And what it really means is that all of a sudden, a stark contrast to the mind's belief system is revealed, to be seen clearly, to be seen as being the truth. And it is, or we could say, the contrasts between what was previously believed to be true and then the sudden seeing, the more this contrast, the more contrasts there are between these two, the more profound the awakening feels like. And it is this sudden shift within, from being locked into a belief system, and then suddenly something completely new is seen clearly without any doubt. And this new that is seen is sort of stunning, is sort of stopping the momentum that was within this rigid belief system. And it is this sensation of coming full stop. Like a a final breath. The belief system takes its final breath and it dies. And it sounds all very dramatic and poetic. And it is a sudden rebirth. And of course the mind finds that attractive. And this sudden shift is accompanied by a deep, intense joy. Love. So of course the mind wants this. But the mind cannot have it. The mind as it is cannot have it. And that is the dilemma. The mind as it is the searcher. The mind as it is what wants the sudden awakening. But the sudden awakening is the mind as it is dying. And again, it sounds very dramatic, but it is not. And now to some of the myths. You see, the seeking spiritual mind has this idea that a sudden awakening or a sudden enlightenment is a complete annihilation of all the madness in the mind, of all the pain, of all the struggling, of all the suffering. And if a human being is going through a sudden awakening with a huge contrast between what was and what is revealed, then it does feels like it is a complete evaporation, a complete awakening, and that all the noise is gone. It feels like that for a while. Never underestimate the conditioning of the human mind. So unless you have a conditioning of a rainworm, there will never be a sudden awakening or a sudden enlightenment that is complete. And here I mean complete in the sense that all the conditioning is gone in a flash of a seeing. That will never happen, and that has never happened. No, not even for the sages. No, not for Eckhart Tolle or any other of the teachers. But that is not a problem. After a while, the deeper conditioning will start to bubble up to the surface. And then this deeper conditioning will be, do I dare to say, processed it will be processed by the clear vision. And some of that conditioning might never go away. But it doesn't matter. The clear seeing has no problem with conditioning, with human conditioning. The clear seeing understands what conditioning is. And the clear seeing knows that fighting the conditioning is a fool's game. The clear seeing is surrendering. And that is the amazing, the amazing part of the awakening. That in the surrendering, the energy embedded within the conditioning is removed. The energy that perpetuates the conditioning is simply cut off. And in so doing, the conditioning slowly falls away. But it is not a result of any doing. And it takes the time that it takes. So surrendering, the conditioned mind, worst nightmare. Surrendering. Surrendering to what is, without and within. So that will happen, sudden awakening or not. So stop longing for any sudden awakening and start surrendering to what is. And then again, the paradox is that in this surrendering, the chances of the sudden awakening becomes more likely. In a way, in the surrendering, you fertilize the ground. In the surrendering, you are saying, awakening, come and take me. I am yours. Reality, I surrender. Come and take me. I am yours. And mind you, it is not a surrendering to what is happening. It is a surrendering to that it is happening. You do not have to accept what is happening. Just accept that it is happening. Why it is happening? That question can be answered in gazillion ways. There is an endless array of answers to that question, and you will never get ashore. So stop asking why everything is happening. And just surrender to the fact that it is happening within and without. And stop fighting it. When you stop fighting it, you release an enormous amount of energy that you have bound into this fool's game. So the myth of sudden awakening and the myth of sudden enlightenment is that it somehow represents an endpoint. Sudden awakening is a new beginning. It is not an endpoint. And that new beginning is a life in acceptance, in alignment with reality. The end of struggling and the birth of love and creativity and compassion. It is all within you already, waiting to be set free. You are love. You are compassion. You are creativity. All of this is just apparently being covered up by struggling and resistance. And struggling and resistance is based upon fear. But you do not have to fear anything. So let go. relax into love, compassion, and creativity.